What happens when a legacy American icon meets a global disruptor known for chaos? For decades, Motel 6 was the gold standard of the economy stay. Simple, clean, and honest. But in late 2024, the game changed. OYO, the Indian tech giant that rewritten the rules of hospitality, bought G6 Hospitality for over $500 million. Is this a tech-driven evolution? Or is the U.S. hospitality industry about to face a race to the bottom that could destroy the budget motel as we know it? Today, we're looking at why G6 is walking in OYO's footsteps and where those steps might lead. Part 1. The Tech-First Trap. First, let's talk about the OYO Playbook. OYO doesn't see itself as a hotel company. It's a tech platform. Since taking over G6, we've seen a massive $10 million injection into digital assets. Now, on paper, a better app sounds great. But in the hospitality world, every dollar spent on an algorithm is a dollar not spent on the physical property. When you treat a hotel room like a unit of inventory on a dashboard rather than a place for a human to sleep, the service soul starts to wither. We're seeing a shift toward invisible management, where AI handles the guest, and the human connection that defines true hospitality is stripped away to save on the bottom line. Part 2. The Franchisee Friction, the race to the bottom. Here's where it gets messy. OYO's history in India and Europe is riddled with legal battles with hotel owners. Why? Because the OYO model focuses on occupancy at any cost. By using aggressive, AI-driven dynamic pricing, they can drop rates so low that local competitors are forced to follow or die. This sounds good for the traveler's wallet, right? Not necessarily. When rates are slashed, the owner's margins disappear. And when margins disappear, what's the first thing to go? Maintenance, security, cleanliness. This creates a market distortion where budget quickly turns into broken. Part 3. The Workforce Erosion and HR Perspective. As someone who has spent years in hotel HR, this is the part that worries me most. The OYO G6 model relies on lean staffing. We aren't just talking about efficiency. We're talking about the gigification of the hotel desk. By automating check-ins and centralizing support, you lose the experienced front office manager who knows how to handle a crisis. You're left with high turnover, low-wage roles that can't sustain the quality Motel 6 was built on. When you lose the people, you lose the brand. Part 4. The Legal Battlefield. Now, let's look at the most alarming part of this transition, the legal courtroom. As we speak in 2026, G6 Hospitality is battling a wave of high-stakes lawsuits that could reshape the entire industry. Specifically, they are facing multiple cases under the TVPRA, the Trafficking Victims Protection Reauthorization Act. From Washington to Texas to New Mexico, plaintiffs are alleging that the budget-at-all-costs model created environments where human trafficking was allowed to occur under the noses of hotel staff. In a recent 2025 ruling, LMV G6 Hospitality, a court allowed claims to proceed based on the theory that the franchisor, G6 itself, exercises so much operational control through its digital systems and room rate mandates that it should be held liable for what happens on the property. Think about that from an HR perspective. If the corporate office controls the tech and the data, but cuts the staff and the training to save money, they aren't just losing quality, they are creating a massive liability. These smoking gun documents being unearthed in discovery suggest that the drive for occupancy might have blinded the brand to the red flags happening in their own hallways. Part 5. The AAHOA Fallout and the AHLA Pivot. This legal pressure explains the massive drama we saw in early 2026. G6 officially reduced its engagement with AAHOA, the very association that represents the immigrant families who own these hotels. Why? Because AAHOA pushes for fair franchising and owner protections. Instead, G6 has pivoted back to the AHLA, American Hotel and Lodging Association, to focus on lobbying for the franchise model. This is a classic corporate defensive move, by aligning with big tech lobbyists instead of their own hotel owners. G6 is signaling that they care more about protecting their corporate structure from these trafficking lawsuits than they do about the actual profitability and safety of the individual motel owner. The verdict. So, is G6 walking in OYO's footsteps? Absolutely. But those footsteps are leading straight into a legal and ethical minefield. When you prioritize Silicon Valley scalability over Main Street safety, you don't just destroy an industry, you destroy lives. If the OYO G6 model continues to strip away human oversight in favor of AI-driven occupancy, these multi-million-dollar lawsuits won't just be cost of doing business. They might be the final nail in the coffin for the classic American motel. What's your take? Is the budget lodging industry too broken to fix? Or can a human-centric HR approach save it? Let's discuss in the comments. I'm Sumit, and this is the Hotelier HR. Stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one.